Hey, it's LSFT here today, and today we're here to look at some interesting information, some facts. I'm hoping it's facts, and it's really related to US allocations. So you can see here on the screen right now, it's actually Reddit, and there's this person who actually posts links on Reddit saying allocation sheets for all Lexus vehicles. So I was just surfing around on the Lexus forums one day and I found someone actually posted this link. And I saw the information and it seemed extremely interesting. But then when I looked at it, it felt it was a little bit hard to actually understand. So let me go and flip over. So the NX allocation. So this is the sheet. And you can see here it actually tells you about the NX 350, 250, all-wheel drive premium, how many allocations are done. Great information, right? But it does say here, right? It says for 2022 or 2023, and I've noticed there's 2024 as well. And it is models in the US, so Canada information is not here. And then they have tabs. They have tabs of a VIN number, colors, and a lot of information. But reading it here, it just seems like great. I can see all the information, but I really don't know what this all means. Because you can keep on going in here and looking at it, but look at it. It's actually saying, why do you need this sheet, right? It says, I suggest to use this sheet to find a new car to purchase, not to get up-to-date statuses of your VIN. So if you got a VIN, don't look at this. I think going to the dealership, asking your dealership for the information, you probably get more up-to-date information. Alright, so I found this information interesting, but again, looking at it, okay, great. So I'm thinking, how can I actually use this information better? So what I did is I took this information, so I took it as of up to May 22nd, and I took all the information and created a sheet. After that, I went and created some analytic dashboards to see what this information provide and the interesting information that you can interpret from sheets like this. One thing I want to say before we go into the information is, if you feel that this information is useful, you can see in here it says buy me a coffee. I definitely suggest you go and buy this person, I think it's Johnny, a coffee, because the information is extremely good. And then, of course, if you enjoy my video, you can also like, comment, share this video, and if you find the information very useful, I can also take a super thanks as well. I'll put the link of what I'm going to show in the description below so that you can go and play around with it as well. And also, I will have the link to buying Johnny 5 AZ a coffee, and also the link to the Reddit post so that you can actually go and use that information for other models, because I'll be looking at the NX in this video. Alright, so let's start with the first sheet. So it says model breakdown allocation in the United States. So based on the spreadsheets that we've seen from that site, I pulled all this information and now it shows it actually has 9,959 vehicles. And this is numbers based on 32 days, so it's very close to 1 month, probably a little bit more than 1 month. So when you look at the allocation for roughly 1 month, you're talking about 9,000 vehicles, which is not too bad, right? If you look at it, it's about 12,000 a year. I was actually quite surprised when I saw this. When you look at the NX 250, the allocation is 3,450 vehicles. That's actually quite significant for a 250. And then the NX 350, 4,823. So that is the most allocation of the models that we have here. And then when you look at the hybrids, the electrified vehicles, it is drastically less than what the gas-only models have. The NX 350H, 1,073, and the plug-in hybrid, the NX 450H Plus, with 613. So when you look at the percentages, the NX 250 has 3,450 units allocated to the United States, which is almost 35%. That is That's not bad, right? That's a lot of vehicles for the NX 250. I wouldn't have expected the 250 had to have that many allocation, because I thought the 350h would be the more selling model and the 350 was to complement it. But when you look at it, it still looks the other way around. Then when we look at the NX 350, that's 48.4%. That's almost 49%. Almost half of the NXs are the NX 350, the 2.4 liter turbo with 4,823. Then we look at the hybrids. The 350h getting 1,073 allocations, and that's 10.8%. And then last but not least, the plug-in hybrid, 6.2% of the full allocation. So isn't that quite good information? Because looking at the spreadsheets, I wouldn't know that this would be the breakdown. And it's actually not too bad, but then if you're waiting for a 350h and a 450h plus, it seems to be a long wait, because looking at the allocation, I would think that they would do more allocation for the 350h, but unfortunately, it seems like the 250 and the 350 take majority, because if you look at that, that's almost 80%. That's actually more than 80% of allocation to the gas-only models. Alright, now we look at the NX manufacturing plant. So just based on the pie chart on the right side, you would notice here that Canada makes 70% of the allocation in this time period, and then Japan still supplies 30%. But you know, if you go back to the previous slide, you would know that based on what we saw, the NX 450h Plus is purely made in Japan. So 6.2% is already coming from Japan. But then when you look at here, 30%, it means that there's still 27 to 26% that are non-plug-in hybrid that are still supplied from the Japan plants. So let's go here and have a look. We can look at the breakdown. So 6,969 units are made in Canada. And then we have 1,563 in the Kaishu plant and 1,427 from the Tahara plant in Japan. Then we look at the breakdown. The NX 250, 934 made in Canada, 270 made in Kaishu plant, and 352 from the Tahara, making that 1,556 units. Then we look at the 250 all-wheel drive. So this is the base all-wheel drive. That seems to be not a very popular trim here, right? Only 82 were produced. Then we look at the NX 250 Premium, 1808, and majority are coming from Canada. And then we have 250 Premium all-wheel drive, 4 from Canada, and Japan does not make them. Then we look at the 350 all-wheel drive. Canada still produces a majority of them, more than 50% of them. And then the 350 F Sport all-wheel drive, 951, not being produced a lot in Japan here. You can see the 350 F Sport and the 350 Luxury, majority is made in Canada. Then we look at the 350 Premium all-wheel drive, similar, but there are still more made in Japan in comparison to these two trims here. Then we look at the 350h. So majority are still relying on the Canadian plant here, because if you look at it, only 10% made from this plant and a little bit over 10% are made in the Tahara plant. So overall, when you look at it, the three hybrid trims still majority made in Canada, and there are still a handful that is made in Japan. I probably need to look at, are these 2023s and these are 2024s? I really don't know, but maybe I'll have to break that apart to see what's the difference here. Alright, our next sheet is really the trim breakdown. So we're looking at here drivetrain breakdown. So is it all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive? And we have some unknown. So based on the sheet, there are some vehicles that just have blank, so that's why it's unknown. So we look at here, for all the 9,000 something vehicles, 65.2% are sold as all-wheel drive. and 33.1 are sold as front-wheel drive only. And there is some number of unknowns, 168. So there seems to be a consistent 168 unknowns in this report. So then on top of that, we then break it down by Canada, manufactured in Japan. And when you look at the percentages, it's not that big of a difference. 65% are all-wheel drive made in Canada and 33.4 made in Canada that are front-wheel drive. Versus in Japan, it's 65.7 versus 32.6. So the numbers are quite close, so I don't think there is any significant differences when we look at the all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive vehicles. Then we look at, okay, the trim breakdown. Is it a premium? Is it a base trim? Is it a luxury? Or it's an F Sport? So based on what I see here, almost 42% is premium trim. Almost 30% is the base trim, where 17% is luxury and 12% is F Sport. Then when you look in Canada production versus Japan production, you see a bigger difference here. So when we look at the trim breakdown in Canada manufactured and Japan manufactured, we have to be a little bit careful here because you can see blue is premium, but blue here is base trim. So I'll have to be careful what I say here. But good thing is F Sport, 13.6% made in Canada are F Sport, but it's only 8% of the cars are actually F Sports made in Japan. So when we look at luxury, 16.1% of vehicles made in Canada are luxury models versus 18.7% that are made in Japan are luxury models as well. Then this is where the confusion is. So I want to look at premium. 44.2% are premium vehicles made in Canada versus in Japan, it's 36.5%. So there is a significant difference here. But then when you look at Canada, the base trim, they only produce 26.1% that are base, versus in Japan, 36.7% are base trim. So the blends are different. So if you're looking for like a base trim, you may actually get a Japan-made vehicle over what's made in Canada. That's quite interesting information to look at. But again, you never know. I think it's still better to get your vehicle, doesn't matter if it's made in Canada or Japan, as soon as possible, right? Alright, now we're looking at breakdown by state and model. This one is going to be interesting, and I really will highly suggest you clicking on the link on the description below to actually play around with this, because I don't think I will be going in and playing around with every single combination so that you can see the numbers, but I'll show you how it works and you can actually see some interesting facts in this slide. Okay, so right now we have all the states in the United States, and it's quite interesting that there's no information for Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, and South Dakota. And also I think this is New Hampshire, I'm assuming, or this is Vermont. I think this is Vermont. New Hampshire is here, yes. So this is Vermont. So there's no allocation in the 32 days in these few states. And I don't know, is it because there's very low volume? People don't like buying Lexus in these states, or what it is. But there's no allocation at all. What surprised me is like Chicago, Michigan. When you look at Michigan, only 83 vehicles were actually allocated. When I click on it, so you can do the same for every state that has highlights. And then what it does is it would load the information for that state. So Michigan, 83 vehicles were allocated in this time frame. So you can see here it has 8 NX 250s, 69 NX 350s, 5 NX 350h, and 1 NX plug-in hybrid. And then you can also break it down by trim here. You can see the plug-in hybrid was actually an F Sport. And then you can see that there's 4 premium and 1 base trim, and then all the trims that you can see here. So when you can undo it by just clicking the same state. And when you look at here, it seems like Florida actually gets the most allocation with 1,957 vehicles. Then by California, then Texas, then New York, New Jersey, and I think this is Philadelphia. So you can see this is how it breaks down. So let's go and look at Florida. So the 1,957 vehicles, let's see what the breakdowns are here. So the NX250 seems to be extremely hot in Florida, in the hot state of Florida. 1,333 NX250s in Florida. Then 517 NX350s, 88 350Hs, and 19 plug-in hybrids. Interesting, right? So let's go back to now California. So California, I would expect more plug-in hybrids, right? You can see it. There's way more plug-in hybrids in California. 489 250s, 481 350s, 364 plug-in hybrids, and 339 plug-in hybrids. So California got most of the plug-in hybrids, right? So 339. So more than half of plug-in hybrids are actually delivered to California. Now let's look at Texas, which is the top three. So 619 250s, 279 350s, 62 hybrids, and 22 plug-in hybrids. Alright, so that's one way to look at it. So another way to look at it is, okay, let's look at hybrids. So now this map has now reflected the hybrids. And now you can see here, California still has the most hybrids, then Florida, then Texas, then New York. Alright, and then if we actually say plug-in hybrids, California, then New York, then New Jersey. So you can see there's a different blend. And then I think 250, we all know it's Florida. Florida's the hottest one. They get most of the allocation anyways. That's how you play around with this. And if you're interested to see, okay, I'm interested to see the 450h F Sport. So I'll just say only. And now it tells me which states actually got the NX 450h plus F Sport. So you can see here, California got 90 in this 32 days. Then it comes to Texas, who actually got 10. Then New York got 8. So that's how this works. I highly suggest you go click on the link and play around with this so that you can actually see how this all works. So this one is now interesting facts of color. So what color is the hottest color here, right? For me, I have a cadmium orange, so that's why my eyes are focusing on the cadmium orange. But then let's look at all the colors first. And I know that white is the most common Lexus you can ever get. So Element White Pearl 2262 is the winner. And then we have the Atomic Silver with 2140. Then we have the Caviar the Black at 1900. Then we have the Cloudburst Gray at 1709. Redline 686. Then we have the Nori Green Pearl at 421. Then we have 315 of the Ultra White. I believe Ultra White is only available on the F Sport. So you can see here, it's only available on the F Sport trims. Then we have the black for F Sport at 217. Then we have the Cadmium Orange, 126. And then it comes to the blues. You can see Grecian Water and Ultrasonic Blue Mica 2.0 have the least colors. There's only 120 Grecian Water and 63 blue, like ultrasonic blues. So you can see the ultra white, the obsidian, cadmium orange, and also, let me see here, also the ultrasonic blue mica 2 are F Sport colors. And you can actually get Redline, Cloudburst Gray, but in the United States, cadmium orange is actually available on all trims, versus in Canada, we can only get cadmium orange in F Sport trims, which is the 350 F Sport and the 450h F Sport. And in the United States, you can actually get a 350h in cadmium orange, which that is not possible in Canada. So based on this, Grecian Water is the least common color that I would say, because the Grecian Water is not available on an F Sport, and it is the least color, because if you look at it, Nori Green Pearl is the second for like the premium and luxury cars, right? So 120 seems quite low. Cadmium Orange follows it with 126, but if you're waiting for an ultrasonic blue mica 2 in the United States, you're getting, it's a long wait, it seems, because allocation doesn't seem to be a lot there. So just looking at my vehicle, the Cadmium Orange 450h plus F Sport, so in the 32 days, they produced one. So they allocated one of that vehicle. But then when you look at it, 47 NX250s, that's a lot. And I'm assuming a lot of that is in Florida. So maybe I should not be driving down to Florida because I will not be that unique down there. 47 of them already down there in this 1 month time span. So again, I'm not going to go through all the colors and all the trims. You can actually go in the link below and view it yourself. Alright, so now into paint versus interior color. Alright, so I have a cadmium orange with black. So 47 out of the vehicles were actually in this combination. But then you can also see different trims with different colors as well. So out of the almost 10,000 vehicles, 3,400 is roughly in black, and then we have 2,158 in red, and then we have black rich cream in 1,888, palomino is 1,780, and then we have circuit red, which is the F Sport, 531. And then you know that we have the magic number of 168 of unknowns. So I don't know where that comes from, but we do know that a lot of the unknowns are from the atomic silver paint colors, right? And then ultrasonic blue has one. We don't know what the interior color is. So now this one is really more like the interior trim versus the interior color. So you know that we have the black prism, the snippet black, the black open pore wood, the dark graphite aluminum, and again, unknown. So we know that the dark graphite aluminum is only available on the F Sport trims. So that's why you would only see it in black or the circuit red. And then you can see here, 4,000, so the black prism is the most common trim that you'll see. And you can see the breakdown here. And then the wood, 1,666. I think these are on higher trims, and that's why there's less. And then the same thing again, F Sport being here. So which trim do you have? I have the dark graphite aluminum for myself. So the next one, the next few slides are actually related to the dealerships. And I'm probably going to put a disclaimer here. This is based on the spreadsheet, and I'm hoping that is correct. So we have the top dealerships with allocations. So Lexus of Pembroke Pines, hope I pronounced it right, had 341 allocation. Then we have North Miami with 309. Then we have a JM Lexus with 306. Lexus of Glendale is 153. So, and it goes all the way down to, let's see, Crown Lexus only got 4 vehicles. So I don't know which dealer you're with, but you can actually come here and see which ones are getting what kind of allocation. And these are for all the trim models, right? So the next one is really taking the same information, but looking at only the gas only models. So we have the NX250 and the NX350 here. So the 250 we saw, right? Florida was getting a lot of them, and you can see the top 4 are all from Florida. Then we look at the NX350, a little different blend here. New York getting more, New Jersey, then we have 2 Floridas. So you can see how this breakdown comes in. It's actually great information for you to figure out, okay, I live in what state, what's my dealership, and what vehicles do they get the most. This is interesting information to see. Then again, the last slide here is the electrified ones. So you can see here, Lexus of Glendale getting in California getting 42 versus then Jim Flack Lexus of, okay, I'm assuming it got chopped off. It's also California 32, and then you can keep on going down. You can see California getting a lot of the hybrids as well. Then you look at the plug-in hybrids, and it's quite obvious, California getting most of the plug-in hybrids as well. If you're looking for a plug-in hybrid, I think these are the dealerships to deal with, and hopefully you can get your NX plug-in hybrid quickly, just going to some of these dealerships. Alright, so then we're going to the last slide here. The last slide is really related to the options. So they actually had a column of options, and it was actually very hard to go in and see, okay, how many of what. So here we go. I wouldn't say that this is perfect, because one thing I've noticed is like the bi LED headlamps, 460 with the triple beams. Let's see where the triple beams, 2,381. That does not add up to 9,000, right? So it does mean that some vehicles don't have headlamps. I doubt it. So most likely I would say the triple beams are correct, and the 9,600 minus this 2,381 are the bi LEDs. I don't know, because again, some of them are equipped with the trim and they probably don't have it as options. So it's just information for reference, and some of this probably does not make all the sense. So let's start off on the top. The 14-inch infotainment screen, 3,348. So 33.6% of the vehicles actually get the 14-inch. And then we have activity mount, 973. About 10% of the vehicles actually come with it. Advanced park feature, 3.5%. And then the all-weather floor liners, 17.6%. I'm assuming this is more on the northern states. And then the alloy wheel locks, 13%. Again, the bi LED headlamps, I doubt this is correct. Probably this would be 70 something percent. I don't know. And then the body side moldings, 2.5%. I'm not a fan of these moldings. I actually like it to not have those strips on the door, but some people would like to protect their vehicle and would like these moldings. Then we have 41.8% getting the carpet cargo mat, and for all Canada that will be 100% because we get it as part of the vehicle. Also with the alloy wheel locks, but I've heard that the alloy wheel locks are actually being removed from the Canadian trims as well. So, well, I don't know. Then we have the cargo net, 55.6%, which is a lot. And again, this does come with the Canadian trims. All trims get the cargo net. Cold weather package, 7.3%. The dash cam is 2%. And then we have the digital key feature. That's quite significant, 45.9%. And again, it's not that stable, but people are still equipping it with their cars. We have the door edge film, 17.6%. The door edge guards, 23.6%. Heated steering wheel, 42.8%. So almost half are getting the heated steering wheel. The illuminated cargo stills, 28.9%. Then we have the door stills at 17.9%. Lane change assist at 23.5%. The Mark Levinson, that's still low, right? 10%. I thought a lot of people liked the Mark Levinson, but I assume you need to get the high trims to actually get it. Maybe that's why. Mud guards, 31.9%. The panoramic view monitor at 23.5%. The panoramic roof, only 8.6% getting the panoramic roof. Wow. Then we have the rear bumper protector, that's 26%, and also in Canada you're getting 100% here because we actually get this bumper protector as part of our models and trims. And then we have the rear puddle light, the upgraded light. So if you don't get it, you get the single LED. This is the 4 LED, which is 13%. Then we have the side puddle lights at 2.9%. This one seems to be something that owners will actually get after the fact and not as part of the vehicle. The smart access key card, 45.9%. That's actually quite significant. I'm surprised that there's almost half of the people actually get the wallet key card. Then again, the triple beam, I'm assuming this is correct, I don't know. And then we have the wiper de-icer, 61.6%. That's actually quite high. And I was quite surprised with that as well. And the wireless charger, 45.9%. And this is the same as the digital key because it's one package in the United States. So that's why the numbers are exactly the same. Maybe some people wanted the wireless charger again, quite useless. But then also the digital key, not that useful. Hopefully those two things gets fixed, and then we will get a better digital key and wireless charger network here. So here we have it, the options breakdown, and it's quite interesting to see. Looking at the spreadsheet, you will not be able to see this information. You probably need to deal with a lot of work to get this done this way. So hopefully this is interesting information for you guys. And again, if you feel that this information is useful and you can buy that Johnny 2AZ a coffee, that'll be greatly appreciated, because they definitely spend a lot of time extracting this data from Toyota to get this information so you can enjoy. So there we have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and again, click that like button, subscribe, comment on what you think about this, and let me know what else you want to see. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please comment, like, and share this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel and press that alert button to get notified when new videos are posted. If you'd like to support the channel, you can definitely provide a super thanks. I'll see you guys again next time in the next video.